How much did you make out of AdSense this year? Now, before I show you how much I made in 2022 on AdSense, let's look at some stats quickly. I feel like I should tease this bit a bit. The next question from Twitter reads, what phone was the best of 2022? Hey guys, welcome to my first video of 2023 and my 300th video on the channel. I was thinking of a better way to start this year and we thought it was best to do a Q&A video. I requested that you guys ask me some questions on Instagram and Twitter, so here it goes. I was splitting this video into 3 sections. The first section is for the tech questions, the next section will be for the finance related questions, and the third section will be for YouTube or general content creation related questions. Without further ado, let's get to the video. So the first question we got was from Damsey, who asks, what tech can't you do without using in a day? I can't do without using my phone. So my current daily driver is the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Pixel 7 Pro for the Android side of things. I temporarily switched from the S22 Ultra, which I absolutely love, by the way. The next question from Twitter reads, what phone was the best of 2022? So I put out a tweet asking people what they currently use, and I noticed that a lot of people use Infinix and Techno devices. Of course, there are no surprises there. However, judging from the phones that I've used in 2022, I would say that my best phone was the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which is my Android phone of choice. And my next best phone is the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which I had a very interesting relationship with. I experienced a few challenges switching from the iPhone 12 Pro Max to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And there's also something to be said about the iPhones closing the gap of what they can possibly add. If you're using an iPhone 13 Pro Max, for instance, there's almost nothing new that you can get from the 14 Pro Max other than the dynamic island and the higher megapixel cameras. There are more features, but those are the main things that stand out with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I really fell in love with the Pixel 7 Pro too, and this is the first Pixel device I've ever purchased. The photos on the Pixel 7 Pro looked solid and using it feels very fluid and smooth. I also really like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4, which is Samsung's most improved folding phone. And this is something I can take to a meeting, take notes, elaborate on examples, and share them quickly. It just feels like a tablet and a phone all at once. Is the Pixel 7 Pro a better camera device than the iPhone 14 Pro Max? How does it do in terms of video and processing power? I found the iPhone 14 Pro Max to be better than the Pixel 7 Pro when it comes to video. For pictures, however, the Pixel 7 Pro was much better and it represented my skin color better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. In terms of processing power though, the iPhone does outperform the Pixel both in single core and multi-core performance. What is the fastest and cheapest way to ship a phone from the US? So I've been buying a lot of tech from the US recently, and I'll say that the best way I found and have been using for a while now is ShareShop. I literally have their bags everywhere in the studio, and I'll leave a link in the description to them if you want to check them out. It's not sponsored. I actually use them. How can somebody start a tech channel without having to buy products for review? When I started making videos, I had to buy some of the tech I initially reviewed and made videos about. It wasn't until I made a few videos that I was able to get a brand to even send a product for me to review. One crucial thing I always mention is that you should always create the kind of content that you want to get paid for, or the kind of content that you want to work with a brand for. My first few phones that I got were not necessarily sponsored. I got the phones, I made my videos about them, and I sent the phones back to the company. However, if you can't afford to buy those products, then I think a reaction video might suffice, or you could talk about software or tech that is easily accessible to you at the time. I also got these 2 questions. Why do most tech companies like Google, Motorola, Nothing Phone not ship to Nigeria? And why are there no official stores for selling Google phones in Nigeria? And I think this is a great question because it's something I've always wondered myself. It definitely raises a few eyebrows when the company claims to be an official Apple retailer, but how do we know that they're not lying just to sell overpriced devices? Another thing is that to get these phones into the country, they will have to pay customs duties because they were never manufactured here, they were imported. Having a store by Google or Apple here in Nigeria selling their devices would make a huge difference for warranty purposes, for aftercare, and everything in between. But for now, we have to contend with importing these devices or overpaying for them at some stores. Shout out to manufacturers like Samsung, Techno, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Nokia, and many more for bringing their devices and support to Nigeria. Dear Apple, dear Google, have fun now. Do you think I can start a successful channel on YouTube with just an iPhone 11 and a tripod? Technically, yes, you can. What mainly matters is the story you're telling, how much that story means to you, and how well you can communicate that story. I also recommend watching tutorials to learn either editing, lighting, audio recording, and everything in between, to be skilled at it and be skilled at content creation in general. But most importantly, make sure that you're giving value with the story or idea you're sharing. But most importantly, make sure you're giving value with the story or idea you're sharing. If people can feel something because of what you made, how you made it might not be the most important thing, but it can definitely help if you have higher quality. Timothy asks, what is your dream car and your favorite tech in a car? My dream car right now is a Tesla Model X with the Falcon wing doors. The funny thing is that we made a video about this car and I temporarily drove it for a few seconds. So make sure you're subscribed to watch that video. What tech products or events are you looking forward to this year? I'm looking forward to a lot of things this year. From the new Samsung devices coming next month. There's also the Tecno Phantom V Fold, which I've seen a lot about online, but the phone is rumored to be coming with a flagship Snapdragon processor. What do you guys think of a foldable Tecno smartphone? I'm also looking forward to seeing the new iPhones, the new MacBooks, Macs, and Asus laptops. Yes, Asus and Lenovo, I think, are the ones that have been trying to push the edge of laptop styles. And I've covered one Asus laptop on the channel here before, the one with the foldable screen. I also want to see more in the VR space. Do stick around to this channel and my Instagram or TikTok, as I'll be sharing as much as I can as far as new tech is concerned. What is that one tech product you didn't actually think you needed, but you found yourself using a lot? This one is very easy. It's actually this guy, the Meta Quest 2. I think I've talked about VR to anyone who cared to listen, and I even took it with me when I traveled for Christmas. For now, I'm mainly enjoying the VR headset for gaming. I found it very immersive, and it can even be a workout. I'm now a VR fanboy, and I occasionally punch the wall sometimes when I'm in VR. Sacrifices we make for love. All right, so we're now in the finance questions, and Benjamin asks, what fintech apps would you say have never disappointed you till now, and what apps would you recommend without fear? I find this to be a very interesting question because there are many fintech apps that do many different things. I've talked about some apps on the channel, but one rule I have is that I won't talk about an app if I don't already use the app. One of the apps I used before is PiggyVest, not sponsored. This is one of the apps that helped me save my first 10 million naira. I then started the Finance Friday series after that, and you can watch my video of the apps that sort of helped me get there. I also talked about Trove, which is an app that can help you invest in the stock market. If you also want to dabble into the world of cryptocurrency, the number one app by market cap and features is Binance. And I've made some videos on the channel about, Binance and stuff like that. In fact, the second most viewed video on this channel with 743,000 views is how you can buy and sell via the P2P method. And I recommend watching that video for clarity. I must stress that I don't recommend investing in stuff you don't understand and feel comfortable with. However, you can check my Finance Friday series. I have a lot of videos there, and I'll share some links in the description below so you can watch as a guide. We also want to make more thoughtful videos about the Nigerian economy and help people understand more harder concepts on the channel as it relates to us. So if you've got any suggestions or questions, I'll be happy to hear them in the comment section below. What is the best app to use to save in dollars? So a lot of people have asked me about saving in dollars, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. I noticed that a lot of the times it's because of the seemingly depreciating local currency that makes people want to save in a foreign currency, because it looks like saving in a foreign currency would hold its value. Now, this is not investment advice, but I think that if people want to save in dollars, it's usually best that they have a use case for it. So let's say you want to travel, for instance, or let's say you have apps and software that you want to purchase, but you cannot buy them with the local currency, or because they only have, you only have an Naira card, which many banks have blocked from processing dollar international transactions, then it is a valid case. Simply saving in dollars to hedge can be very risky, because today you might buy that dollar at 7.50 and tomorrow it might drop to 7.30 or worse, and you'll make a loss. So you might be better off doing it for long-term purposes. And if you don't have any use case for it and you're ready to accept the consequences of probably a loss, then maybe. That being said, apps like Trove let you save in their vault. RiceVest is also an option as well. And I think PiggyVest also has a dollar option. It also pays to have a domiciliary account because you can transact with the mainstream channels, and it's a much stronger institution. I would recommend watching my video on why Nigerians can't pay for international transactions with the card up above and ways that you can go about it. I think you might find that video useful. That guy Daniel asks, how much did you make out of AdSense this year? Now, before I show you how much I made in 2022 on AdSense, let's look at some stats quickly. Last year, we made 37 full videos on the channel on YouTube and 35 short form videos. For those videos, we had a total of 28.2 million views. And from that, 21.5 million were from short form videos and 6.8 million were from long form videos. We also added 193,000 subscribers to the channel, which is nearly 200K more, which is cool. And for the answer to the question, we made around, I feel like I should tease this bit a bit, 65.9 thousand in 2022 on AdSense alone, minus any brand deals, which is very insane to see. Also, this is before taxes and there are some deductions, so it's going to be a little bit less than that. Can you tell me the top 5 books you've read? So if I'm going to rank 5 of the best books I've read in the personal development niche in no particular order, I'd go with these 5. The first one is Mastery by Robert Greene. It's a book I've read nearly 10 times now. I find the stories fascinating and the concept of going from total beginner to being a master at your craft is well elaborated in this book. The second book I go with is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a book about how tiny changes can make big differences, especially when it comes to your habits. The third book I'd recommend is The Millionaire Next Door. If you follow this channel, you know I always recommend this book every time I get the chance. It's a book that helped me shape my mindset further on saving, investing, and increasing my income and overall wealth. If you want to get that book for free, you can check the link in the description below. I highly recommend it. Just check. The fourth book I'd recommend is Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's also another book that changed my perspective on money. The last book I'd recommend would have to be Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's a very interesting book on negotiation, a different perspective. And a bonus book I'd recommend would be Ignore Everybody by Hugh MacLeod. If you're a creative person, I highly recommend this one. Please, how do you make money on Instagram? So as far as I know, Instagram does not pay creators for their content. At least I've never been paid by Instagram directly. However, you can make money through sponsorships on Instagram by working with a brand to promote their products or service. And that's how I've sort of been able to monetize that platform. So for the YouTube and content related questions, the first person to ask was Oduwashola Fumi. What mic do you use to record your videos? Can we get a video about what you use on set and how much each costs? So for our mic setup, we use the Shure SM7B that goes into the Zoom H8. And for our main video camera, we use the Sony FX6 with the 24-70 G Master lens and an Atmos Ninja V to record in ProRes RAW. The second camera behind me is the Sony A7S III with a 70-200 G Master lens. For lighting, we use the Aperture 300D Mark II and 2 Amaran T26s behind me. For the updated cost of all this gear, you can check the names of these products on Amazon with the link in the description below. Marshall asks, what has been your greatest challenge and breakthrough as an influencer and YouTuber? So the greatest challenge for me has been NEPA, or constant electricity. That is something that I wish we could have equally. But other than that, staying consistent has been like a major goal that I wanted to tackle. And I do hope to get the chance to do that this year. Another challenge is traveling as a Nigerian and having to apply and deal with the long waiting times to the point where I just lose out on opportunities. I got confirmed to go to CES 2023, but I couldn't go. But on the positive side though, the breakthrough has been having more people like you guys watching the channel, more people joining the team, and also working with some brands that I'm super proud of, like DW, the German broadcasting company. I think I've actually significantly improved my documentary and storytelling skills just by working with them. I took multiple courses and we did some good work. Also, YouTube selected me for the class of 2022, which is just super amazing. Those moments made my 2022, and I can say that they are the highlights of my career. I do hope to do more. Do you ever wake up feeling like you want to quit or you're not doing enough? If yes, what keeps you going? Sometimes I do feel like I might not be doing enough, but I try to remind myself of why I started and where I see myself going. I want to give as much value to as many people as possible and also do great things for myself, my family, my team, and people who have contributed in one way or the other to helping us tell better stories. So pretty much that. On average, how many days does it take to be done with a video task? Also, what devices did you start with? way back. I started out with the Canon T6i and a Sigma 50mm 1.8 lens, and later added the Sigma 18-35 lens. I would absolutely recommend this kit to anyone looking to start out, and if you can, you should get a better camera like the Canon 70D to start. So to answer the question about how long it takes to complete the videos, it can take around 2 days to script a video, and sometimes even a week if it's a finance video with detailed analysis and all that stuff. Editing can take a few hours or sometimes days, so it depends, but on average, our videos take anywhere from 3 to 6 hours if it is a short video to 2 weeks or more if it is a research-based video. So the spectrum is very wide. What are the lessons you've learned as a content creator, and how have you not allowed your success stop you from growing? As far as the lessons I've learned, I think it's important to evolve. When we had our interview with Mr. Who's the Boss, we talked about a few things, and he spoke about long form versus short form content and the state of things at the time. This kind of spurred me into taking short form content seriously. And I think when we started posting, we had over 50,000 people just follow us within 1 month. We found that short form content had more reach and long form content helped build lasting relationships with the audience. So I knew it was best to mix both. I don't think I'm where I want to be just yet, because while I was there, I also visited the University of Oxford and I attended a lecture. Then I also went to the University of Cambridge as well, and I met a few interesting people. For me, I strongly believe that the moment that I stop learning is the moment that my mind starts to decay. So I want to have the opportunity to learn and teach on a much larger scale this year. Amen. How did you get your first brand deal? Do you go ahead to pitch to companies and brands? I think this is a very interesting question. So I actually started reaching out to brands, but no one would get back to me because they didn't already see the value that I was going to provide. I then started creating the kind of content that I would love to create for brands, and lo and behold, a brand reached out to me, and then another, and then another. So it sort of helps that we weren't too many creators back then making tech videos, but I think the same still applies. As far as you're delivering some kind of value, people can align with that. Can you do a collab with younger YouTubers? Yes, of course. Hugosin asks about the goals for the YouTube channel for 2023. Well, we'd like to reach 1 million subscribers this year. I think we can do that, right? So we also want to reach more people who have interesting stories to share and put them on this channel. So if people can come to the channel and leave better than they came, I think I would feel fulfilled. Just drop a comment below with what kind of content you would like to see based on what we've done on this channel. Eva Momo asks, I was bad in school, but I didn't follow instruction. What is your favorite movie of all time? My favorite movie of all time will have to be Sound of Music from 1965. I love the movie mainly because of the songs in it and my nostalgia from when I was a child with fewer problems. My favorite series of all time would be Breaking Bad. It has this very deep story and it takes you on like a roller coaster of emotions. I also like Suits, Archer, and more recently, Blacklist. Raymond Redding.
I'm not perfect.
Israel asks, how is life going? How is family and friends? And when are you uploading your new video of 2023? Well, thank you, Israel. You are very kind. I'm doing great and everyone is doing fine. This video you're currently watching is our first video of 2023. So how did we do? I hope you found this video useful. Also, if you've got any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. One of the videos that we did in 2022 that I'm most proud of is interviewing Aaron, Mr. Who's the Boss, and you can watch that video right here. I'll see you there.